Excuse me. Sorry about that.
What you think about when you're born into
That's right. What's up, chat?
let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth get away.
Damn.
This is bigger.
Coughing, sneezing, all kinds of shit.
World burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack,
Happy Easter, losers.
to play. Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
It is Easter Eve. Or the eve of Easter.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
Here we go.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Last night, I got some sand or some shit in my eye. That's why I wasn't live last night. I posted on Discord, and then later on, I posted on Telegram, but I didn't post anywhere else. But it's still kind of bothering me a little bit. I don't know if you can tell if it's red, but I took my contact out most of the day, and it's only like every few times I blink, I can feel like something kind of scratchy there. I'll probably take them out again tonight, leave them out tomorrow during the day. I have glasses somewhere, probably in the safe with like important documents and shit, but I didn't have solution. I didn't have anything here. My eye was like basically trying to swell shut. So I just popped that contact out and went and to this local store and got some solution, but I had to drive home with no depth perception. I'm like legit blind without my glasses or contacts. Like I have like 20 fucking 80 or some shit. So it was pretty rough, but we made it, and I'm back tonight and doing a little bit better. I can still see it's red on the inside there, but not nearly as bad. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. If you want to support the show, you can do that at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. There's a lot going on right now with the courts. So hold on just a second. Basically, Trump's in a fight with the courts, right? Everybody knows this. Trump is fighting with the courts. Sometimes they're ignoring the courts. Sometimes they're listening to the courts. Sometimes they're not. So it seems like that the ACLU got word that Trump was going to deport more Venezuelans under the Alien Enemies Act, right? That's what it seems like was going to happen. So some people that had friends, family members, or whatever locked up in immigration, these people got notices that they were going to be deported under the Alien Enemies Act. And I think they had been transferred to Texas as well. And they got a notice that said within 24 hours they were going to be removed under the Alien Enemies Act. Now, again, a lot of these things that Trump's doing, he doesn't technically have the power to do it. Okay? And Congress is supposed to be voting to take some of his power away. Hopefully. The way he's getting around this, everybody's like, how can Trump just do this? And how can he just do that? And how can he just do this? And tariffs and enemies and whatever. It's because he's declaring national emergencies. So he declares an energy national emergency. Does shit with that. He declares we're being invaded by gang members, national emergency. Starts deporting people, right? He does a we're being screwed over by the world, national emergency. He does tariffs. Arguably, the worst performing thing that he's done so far is tariffs. The vast majority of the country is like, what the fuck is he doing? He's fucking up the economy, especially after the gigantic cliff dive the economy took. An announcement of his tariffs. He has now put J.D. Vance as his tariff czar. You remember how much hell they raised about Kamala Harris being the border czar and she didn't fix it? Well, J.D. Vance Trump has just set up J.D. Vance to take the fall for the tariffs. Anyways, he's doing all this stuff under national emergency. So he declares a national emergency by executive order, and then when he puts it out, and then he makes all these changes. Elizabeth Warren and the Democrats and a couple of Republicans have now voted like, hey, if he wants to declare a national emergency, that's fine. But if he's just going to keep doing it for everything so he can bypass Congress, right? Congress makes the laws. Congress makes the spending. We put the money in there. And then all you're supposed to do is enforce the laws and enforce the spending, right? Negotiate, whatever. So right now he's bypassing Congress with these national emergencies. And he's doing it for basically everything. He doesn't want to go to Congress, even though he's got a supermajority, whatever. He really doesn't want to make an argument. He doesn't want to make the case. He just wants to do it by pen and paper. It's Project 2025, basically. So Elizabeth Warren is leading a charge with a couple of Republicans to say, hey, if you're just going to keep avoiding us through national emergencies, we want you to come to Congress and at least tell us. Like, tell us the national emergency is because of, or send somebody in your stead. Obviously, Trump's not going to show there. Tell us, like, this is why it's a national emergency. This is why we have to do it this way. This is why the president needs, action up, something, because you're basically bypassing Congress to do this. And a lot of it seems unconstitutional, illegal, what have you, and you're cutting us out. It's weird. Whatever. So Trump is fighting a bunch of people in court, and the ACLU gets this notification that some more people are going to be deported under the Alien Enemies Act to Venezuela. So the ACLU tries to go to Boasberg. You remember the D.C. court? The D.C. Judge? Boasberg's the one who told him to turn the planes around, all that shit, right? Turn the planes around, you can't do this, stop the planes, he ignored them. So the ACLU goes to Boasberg, and Boasberg's like, look, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't have an order in that he can't do this. I told him to turn the planes around. He fucking ignored it, right? So I don't know what to tell you. So they went ahead, the ACLU went ahead and filed with the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit covers a bunch of different states, but it also covers Texas, where these planes were going to be flying out of. So they filed with the Fifth Circuit. Now, typically that would take a few days. They file, the Solicitor General, which is like the government's lawyer would file back, whatever, back and forth. Instead of this process taking place, like you file with a judge, then you go to appeals, then the appeal judge rules, then you go above and beyond, and you end up going to the Supreme Court. Instead of that happening, we have this big surprise, honestly, to me at least. We have the Supreme Court basically saying, of their own accord late last night, hey, we know you're trying to do this. We know you're trying to, deport people. We know that they filed with so typically the Supreme Court, hold on just a second. Typically the Supreme Court would wait until the paperwork at least reaches them. They would wait until something happens. They like the judge would rule, the district judge, then the appellate, then the Supreme Court may or may not take it. The government might ask them to look at it. They may ask them not to look at it, whatever, right? The Supreme Court kind of, which is a good sign for us, hopefully, kind of jumped the gun. So late last night, the Supreme Court comes out and basically says, hey, we know you're trying to do this under the Alien Enemies Act. We know that they filed in the Fifth Circuit. We don't want this to stop the solicitor from filing in your defense of the Fifth Circuit, but we're just going to go ahead and jump out ahead of this and say, no, right? No, we want to stop all deportations through this Alien Enemies Act of Venezuelans until the court has done its thing. So it says the Supreme Court on Saturday, which was late last night, early this morning. The Supreme Court on Saturday blocked for now the deportations of any Venezuelans held in northern Texas under 18th century wartime law. In a brief order, the court directed the Trump administration not to remove Venezuelans held in the Blue Bonnet Detention Center until further order of this court. Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito dissented. I don't think they wrote a dissent. They just dissented. It was a one paragraph thing. The High Court acted in an emergency appeal for the American Civil Liberties Union, contending that immigration authorities appeared to be moving to restart removals under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The Supreme Court had said earlier in April that deportations could proceed only if those about to be removed had a chance to argue their case in court and were given a reasonable time to contest their pending removals. So again, the Trump administration basically told these people, 24 hours, you're out of here. We're moving you to Texas. So in 24 hours, we can send you to CCOD or Venezuela or wherever you're going. The Supreme Court says, no, you can do this, but they have to have a reasonable time to defend themselves. And while we're on the topic, let's go back to Abrego Garcia. You will see people argue. Two courts said he was a member of MS-13. Two separate judges, they ruled he was a member of MS-13. Again, they didn't rule that he had proven he wasn't a member. And you have to look at what type of hearings those were. Were those in front of a jury? You know, was that his case to see if he was a convicted murderer? They were bond hearings. And bond hearings require the lowest evidence, the lowest form of evidence to not get a bond, right? So just somebody saying some shit. So somebody like this confidential informant that would definitely not hold up in court. Let's say he was going to court for a murder charge. There's no way this confidential informant shit would just hold up by itself in court. But in a bond hearing, yeah, because we want to err on the side of not making a mistake and someone committing a crime or something while they're on a bond or leaving or fleeing or running away from the court. So the Supreme Court has stepped forward and said, no, we're not doing this until you get another order. Until you get another order from this court, just stop. We don't try to rush them out. Don't try to push them through. Don't try to hide them or say the plane already took off. We can't turn it around now. So that's a positive sign, I guess. I'm trying to find the actual ruling. Give me just a second. See if I can get it in PDF format. This is the emergency filing. That's the filing. Hold on. Working on it, chat. Give me a second. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Supreme Court ruling. Oh, I thought that was it. That's not. That's from 2 weeks ago. Where is the fucking one paragraph ruling? Oh, I should probably spell Supreme Court right, shouldn't I? Here it is. So they stepped ahead, right? They got ahead of this. Trump's doing some other crazy shit too. We'll talk about in just a second, but it says Saturday, April 19th, 2025, order and pending case. There is before the court an application on behalf of a putative class of detainees seeking an injunction against their removal under the Alien Enemies Act. The matter is currently still at the Fifth Circuit. It hasn't made it to us yet. It's still pending before the Fifth Circuit. Upon action by the Fifth Circuit, the Solicitor General, your lawyer, is invited to file a response to the application before this court as soon as possible. So once the Fifth Court rules, your lawyer can file with us immediately, as soon as possible. The government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of this court. And it says, see 28 USC 1651A, Justice Thomas and Justice Alito dissent from the court's order, statement from Justice Alito to follow. But I haven't seen Alito's statement. I guess he's putting the dissent out there. This was kind of a quick, I guess, put it out there fast before, because he's just going to try. He's going to try to fucking hide him, right? Donald Trump is also going to the Supreme Court, which we'll talk about in just a second. He's also going to the Supreme Court about this is going to be wild. So right now, the way the court works, or has been working, is, let's say someone files with the court and they file on a specific action that Trump took. We'll just use that as an example because that's all that happens, okay? And that order affects millions of people across the United States. Currently, courts are putting in these nationwide injunctive orders, okay? And they're saying nationwide, anywhere in the U.S., if you're part of this class, Trump can't do this to you. And I personally think that's a good thing, right? Because can everybody go to the fucking, the appellate court or the district court or the Supreme Court? Well, Trump and his administration is arguing this is a bad thing. Here's what they want to happen. Let's do this Venezuela thing, right? Let's do this Venezuelan thing. Let's say a Venezuelan person who's about to be deported overseas. No, let's do an American thing. Let's do birthright citizenship. Okay, let's do birthright citizenship. Somebody whose parents aren't citizens, but they were born here and has always had citizenship. They go in front of the court and they say, Trump's trying to end birthright citizenship. It's in the Constitution. We don't think it should be ended. This is ridiculous and it affects me personally. Okay? What Trump thinks should happen, instead of the court saying, okay, birthright citizenship's in the Constitution, he can't end anybody's birthright citizenship in the United States. What Trump thinks should happen, and his administration thinks should happen, is it only protects that one person that filed in front of the court. So if it's me, I go in front of the court, I'm a birthright citizenship person, I said, he's trying to take away my birthright citizenship, and they rule in my favor, it only protects me. And every other person who wants that same protection would have to go in front of the court and do the exact same thing. Potentially millions of fucking people. But you say, but Will, states can go to court against Trump. And yes, states can go to court against Trump. That is true. Hold on. Sorry, Mariah called. I thought it was an emergency. Anyways, so you say, but Will, states can take its people to court, right? And they can. That's true. So let's say, for me, the state of Tennessee goes to court for its birthright, including me, birthright citizens in the state of Tennessee. Let's say they go to court and they win in court. And the judge says, no, that's in the Constitution. You can't take that away from birthright citizens. Guess who that would apply to? Only birthright citizens in the state of Tennessee. So now let's set up this birthright citizenship case. Birthright citizenship affects millions of people across all 50 states, and it's going to go to court. We know it's going to go to court. So either every person with birthright citizenship claims has to take the Trump administration to court in Trump's world, or all 50 states have to take Trump to court for their citizens under birthright citizenship. What are the chances of that fucking happening? What are the chances of every birthright citizenship claim taking Trump to court, or all 50 states taking Trump to court for birthright citizenship claims? Zero. It's not going to happen, right? So Trump wins and is able to deport people and invalidate their birthright citizenship in his perfect world because people won't fucking do it. Trump's argument is that you shouldn't allow a representative to go in front of a court, a federal court, and get a injunction, that the Supreme Court needs to step in and get rid of all these injunctions. There's too many of them. They're too broad. They're being abused against him. And one of the things he says is like 1/4 of all the nationwide injunctions issued in the last 100 years are against Trump. No shit. Has anybody else come into office and tried this bullshit? Anybody? Anybody come in and said, oh, you know that part of the generally accepted Constitution that we all say is part of the Constitution and no one can do anything about it unless we update the Constitution through the proper procedures? I just want to erase that part. Yeah. Birthright citizenship, I just want to get rid of that part. Oh, we're just going to pretend like it isn't there. When people ask us about it, we'll say it's about slaves. Like, the reason there's so many injunctions against him is because he's trying so much crazy bullshit. Not because the judges are picking on him. Not because he's this polarizing figure. It's because he's the one trying this stupid shit. Let's start here. I got videos to back up what I'm saying, I guess.
You're suing all of the federal judges. Yeah, all those pesky activist judges are really getting on my nerves. The Supreme Court agreed to hear this? Yeah, they took it on as an emergency case. And I'm not exaggerating. If I win, I can do literally anything I want. But not like override the Constitution. No. I would definitely be able to override the Constitution with an executive order. No, that's not possible. You're clearly exaggerating like you do. I'm not. Do you remember when I signed that executive order ending birthright citizenship? Yeah, it was challenged by like a whole bunch of states and watchdog organizations. Right, there were several cases that ended up being heard in federal courts, and some of those judges issued national injunctions. But also to be clear, one injunction alone, that still would have been enough. Yes.
Right, one injunction alone is enough, even though multiple people went in different circuits and got injunctions over like birthright citizenship. One injunction would have been enough to protect us all. It's a blanket.
An injunction says that nationwide this executive order is unconstitutional and unenforceable. So the birthright citizenship case, this is the emergency case that the Supreme Court is hearing? No, I was just explaining how those pesky activist judges have been keeping me in check. The emergency case is actually us trying to strip them of the power to issue national injunctions at all.
Strip the courts of the power to do national injunctions at all.
Wait, so if you win and judges can't issue injunctions, then who would fight back against a clearly unconstitutional executive order like ending birthright citizenship? Anyone that was impacted personally by the...
You have to be the affected party, and you personally, to get protections, would have to take the federal government to court. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
executive order would have to sue us individually. Stop it. You're saying that if I was born here and my parents weren't citizens, I would have to sue you to get my citizenship back? Yeah, and here's the kicker. If you win in a federal court, that doesn't mean dick for anyone else. Holy shit. What about the states that sued you? This is where it starts to get interesting because states can sue on behalf of their residents. So every state would have to sue to reinstate.
You know what states would not sue, right? All the red states. Texas, Florida, Tennessee, none of the red states would sue. So if we just went with states, all the birthright citizens in blue states would be protected, and there would be citizens fleeing to blue states. Guaranteed. And the red states don't want to piss them off.
State birthright citizenship and win. Right. And some states might not, but then they could appeal it to the Supreme Court, who could give a nationwide ruling. Sure, but you've seen how fast I can move on tariffs. SCOTUS already gets petitioned for 8,000.
People are arguing. This is what the argument is. This right here. People are arguing like, if there needs to be a nationwide injunction, the Supreme Court will hear it. Okay. Let's say Trump does 300 things that are unconstitutional this year. The Supreme Court hears about 60 cases a year, if they want to, if they pick it up. How quickly can, let's say he ends it tomorrow. He ends birthright citizenship tomorrow. And starts deporting people instantly that were born here. Born in the U.S. with citizenship. How many people disappear before the Supreme Court potentially hears the case?
Cases a year, and they only have time to hear 60. All I have to do is sign a piece of paper. You have to fight an incredibly expensive and time-consuming legal battle. So you can just flood the zone with executive orders, and we can't even rule them unconstitutional until judges rule on them individually. Oh yeah, I can disrupt supply chains. I can determine what medical procedures you can get. I can take your firearms away. And until you win a case, your state wins a case, or the Supreme Court rules on something in a couple of years, my executive order stands. Oh my God. And you're still thinking like a good person. I've already signed executive orders crippling law firms. I could cripple all of them.
He's already fucking with the law firms, saying they can imagine any law firm that goes to pick this up for you. They're banned from federal buildings now because they're terrorists or whatever.
Holy shit. This is the biggest case of your sad little life. But you're still not bringing Abrego Garcia back. Oh, I don't actually have the power to do that. You're suing all...
This is insane. There's no way the Supreme Court could ever hear the caseload that it's going to take to keep this administration constitutional. Even if they wanted to. Let's say they want to hear every claim that Trump is going to make that's unconstitutional. Every executive order. They couldn't if they wanted. There's not enough time in the fucking day. And they're still trying to take this power away. Trump is saying that it's being abused. It's being used too much. It's being targeted against him and his administration, and that they should not have the power to do it. Here's the video I was wanting to show you the other day. Can you believe that this is fucking America, dude?
It made me tremble, and I wasn't even in the car. I can only imagine what my clients must have been feeling to have experienced that. They are the ones that took the video, so they were living that firsthand.
There's more to the video.
It made me tremble, and I wasn't.
This is just the first one I found when we were talking about the other night. There's more to it. Like they stand there forever telling them, and they're like, "We just want to wait on our lawyer. We just want to wait on our lawyer. We just want to wait on our lawyer." They're not trying to flee. They're not trying to run. They're not trying to do anything. But there you go. And then this guy, I repeat, I am not advocating for the actions in this video I'm about to show. I would never do that. I would never advocate for the actions I'm about to show in this video. But in a hypothetical world where a governor in a blue state took these actions, hypothetically, I do think that it would get some attention. Hypothetical attention. If hypothetically, a hypothetical governor in a hypothetical blue state took these actions, I do think it would get hypothetical attention. Okay? Here we go. Hypothetically.
Snatch a Proud Boy. Snatch 5 of them. Some Democratic governor who's going to be a legend. Just snatch him off the street. No due process. Put him in solitary and let him sit. And then watch the MAGA fascists fall over themselves trying to get him out. Because you can't do that to somebody within the United States, right? Unless it's them. Like, let's light this fucking candle and go. Do it. Watch what happens. Set it off. If you don't do it now and you wait, it'll be harder. He does not have a grip on everything. He's floundering. He's making mistakes, as expected. Do it. Grab a Proud Boy who was at January 6th and got pardoned by Trump. Grab him, throw him in solitary, no due process. Watch them try to justify. Watch them backpedal. Take it all the way to the Supreme Court so that they can go ahead and cement due process. And then you can't do this to people inside the United States. Don't wait. Be a fucking legend. If you play by their rules, you...
Hypothetically.
Snatch a Proud Boy.
Snatch a Proud... So hypothetically, if this happened, they would go to bat to make sure that due process stands every chance. Not to mention, the two arguments I hear about Abrego Garcia is he got due process in front of an immigration judge when he was ruled to be a member of MS-13. The people that are smart, that know this, that are saying this, are lying to you, and some people are dumb. Okay, it was a bond hearing. It was a bond hearing. When someone gets charged with murder and they're arrested, let's say they murder their spouse and they frequently travel to Mexico. When they get a bond hearing, they might be a flight risk. Right? They might be a flight risk. They don't get a bond. Let's say they don't get bond because they're a flight risk because they have a home in Mexico and they go there often and disappear, go off the grid, whatever. That's not due process, okay? That's not the same as saying they're guilty of murder, give them the electric chair. Just because they don't get bond. Again, that requires the lowest level of proof, right? Just perhaps you might be a flight risk. Perhaps you might be a danger. Perhaps you might not show up. That's not due process, okay? That's not it. Or that immigrants don't get due process, which is an absolute lie. People under our law get due process. But it doesn't even matter anymore because check this out. This was the exact scenario
They've arrested
that I told you was coming. This is a born in the United States, full-fledged U.S. citizen. Pulled from a car, detained by ICE. Mother shows up at the hearing with his birth certificate and information to prove he's a U.S. citizen. The judge says, this is a perfect example of evidence to prove that he's a U.S. citizen. But I don't have the authority over ICE he's in an ICE detention center. This is exactly why it doesn't matter. You can drive around with your goddamn passport. If they say, no, don't want to look at it, you're gone, bro. You're done. I have literally seen the MAGA retards claiming that people in this country should be afraid of our government. Isn't that the number one tenet of our country? Like, you shouldn't be afraid of the government. They're literally arguing like, ha, you should be scared. You should be scared they're coming to get you. What?
They've arrested a United States citizen in Florida. By they, I mean ICE. And by United States citizen, I mean he was born in Georgia and lives in Georgia. He was on his way to Tallahassee for a job, I think a job interview. And during a traffic stop, and he was the passenger, by the way, during a traffic stop, they arrested him. ICE arrested him. And for the doubters, I'm sure you're saying there has to be some evidence. He had to have done something wrong. He did. His name is Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez. Must be an illegal immigrant, right? He looks Hispanic. Can't be American, right? This is his mom at the courthouse when her son appeared virtually from the jail, crying at the sight of that, as any mother would.
With his birth certificate and Social Security card.
And what's she holding in her hand? His United States birth certificate. So did they release him? No. He's going to be held there for no less than 48 hours waiting for federal immigration authorities to come pick him up. I doubt anybody listening to this is shocked, but what you should be is both pissed off and horrified. We knew it was coming. We've been screaming it's coming. Trump just said a couple days ago, the homegrowns, but now it's happened. Don't think this will be the last. I truly hope they release him very soon. But even if they do, this is going to continue to be a problem. That's going to get worse. So my only question is, are we great yet? They've arrested a United States citizen.
They're arresting citizens for just sounding too brown. You don't think he told them I'm a citizen? You don't think he said, here's my driver's license? You don't think he said I was born here? The same shit. What would you say? A cop pulls you over and he says, I'm sorry, I think that you're an illegal immigrant. You're going to have to come with us. What would you say to the cops? You don't think he said every fucking thing that you would say? Because when I present this to MAGA people, they're like, I'll just tell them I'm a citizen. I would just show them my driver's license. I would just tell them where I was born. You don't think he did all the same shit? And then there's a bunch of creators that are going to meet Charlie Kirk down in Texas.
So what are you doing this Easter to celebrate with your family?
Well, I am glad you asked. I'm actually heading down to Texas right around Easter to get together with some of my internet family, and we are going to roast a bootlicking pig.
You want to come up here and talk?
Oh, you bet your ass we do, Charlie, in the chock full of shit factory.
Come on up, tough guy. Come on.
You know, from a 31-year-old who's desperately trying to identify as a man but needs to hire mall cops to protect him from the teenage girls he hangs around college campuses harassing when they slap his hat off.
And what's your housing? What is that sample?
Immigration Customs Enforcement.
Or when a teenage boy lightly tosses a water bottle at him.
At what point would I not be a racist then? When you stop enabling racists. That's an unbelievably racist thing to say. Whoa, that's assault. Are you serious? I do want to press charges, by the way. We're going to press charges against him?
Oh, I want to press charges. What are you
he dashed water on him. I want to press charges again. I do want to press. Yes, I want to press charges.
Worried about melting, you little wicked bitch of the West? Well, after all that, calling other people tough guy is a bold strategy, Cotton. I bet all those barely legal babes really think you're a badass now, don't they? And to bring everybody up to speed who doesn't know who Chucklefuck Charlie Kirk here is, he is a 31-year-old man-child and community college dropout who spends all of his time hanging around college campuses, ogling questionably legal girls, and trying to find children he can feel intellectually superior to. He also co-founded Turning Point USA, which is a disinformation and propaganda organization that exclusively exists to try to indoctrinate children into being Nazis. Sorry, white nationalists. I mean Christian nationalists. Wait, sorry, not Christian nationalists, Christians and nationalists.
I've never described myself as a Christian nationalist, so I'm a Christian and a nationalist.
And though Chuckle Cuck is nothing more than a pathetically small man-child with a freakishly large forehead, if you give anybody enough Koch brothers bucks, they can seriously fuck America. And judging from the far-right turn Gen Z men took in the most recent election, it is painfully clear that people like Charlie Kirk have been fucking young boys in America hard. But never fear, the Unfuck America tour is here, and a bunch of creators, myself included, are flying down to Texas to stand.
I've seen like 3 or 4 videos. They're all going down there. I don't know. He'll probably have them stopped by security and won't let them in. Or apparently he's having an event this weekend, and they're going down there to get on stage to debate with him, I guess. But I've seen 3 or 4 creators. But usually what they do is they'll have somebody stand there, security, with pictures of these people. He would rather binge study a topic or multiple topics, whatever the hot topics are right now, and then have a barely verbal college student try to come up. And sometimes he still gets burnt. It's like Steven Crowder. If Steven Crowder wanted to be taken seriously, he would debate people that are the major debaters on these topics on the opposite side of the aisle. Instead, he does the Change My Mind series.
And face to Five Head with Charlie Kirk at Texas A&M on Tuesday. And we are going to give him the unique opportunity to have an intellectual matchup with people who are older than Matt Gaetz' girlfriend. But I know you are getting to see this happen and you don't want to wait till Tuesday, so I figured I'd give you a little dramatization of what that might look like right now. But before I do that, I just want to say that bringing the fight to fascists is not free, so if you want to support us, we would really appreciate it, and you can do that by going to the tree on my page. It's the very first one. Now to the show.
It's like mass deportation really just is like cleansing the land.
No, it's not. It's restoring the law.
Wait, isn't Velveeta Vladimir violating the law on this specific issue by rounding up people without giving them due process before shipping them off to foreign concentration or quite possibly extermination camps? And then isn't he violating the law even more on this specific...
By the way, speaking of this, did you guys see how they tried to make it look like the dude had a margarita? Abrego Garcia, when he met with the senator? Did you see where they first wanted them to record to do the interview by the pool at the hotel? Then they were having water and coffee, and neither one of them drank from either one. But in the middle of the interview, in the middle of the talk, the president's assistant comes up and puts 2 glasses down with salt on the rim. And the one they put in front of Abrego Garcia looks like it's been drunk from, and the other one is full. And then President Bukaki tweets out like, oh, he's alive and having margaritas. But neither one of them consumed anything on the table. That's a propaganda machine, bro.
Issue by openly defying legal orders from judges he appointed to the highest court in the country, the Supreme Court of the United States, which unanimously ruled he needed to stop this shit and bring some of these people back. And isn't that just the most recent example in a long history of this regime violating the law? And that's really just a continuation of the long and rich lawless traditions of every Republican administration since Nixon. From Watergate to Iran-Contra to warrantless wiretaps to weapons of mass destruction, the only time you melon felon fanboys have ever given a fuck about restoring
the melon felon is very good.
The law was so you could see how many times you could break it.
The law is not a moral compass.
Yes, it is.
Wait, if the law is a moral compass now, why'd you spend so much time whining like a little bitch about how 50 years of Roe v. Wade being the law was amoral? Segregation and slavery were the law at one point. Were they moral? You know what, don't answer that. We already know you think they were. Hey, I think it's fair to call you Jiminy, considering how crickets you've been on the topic of how amoral your Clementine cult leader was after he got convicted of 34 fucking felonies. Come to think of it, it seems like you've got moral objections to most laws, and the only ones that make your moral compass point north are the ones that involve oppressing women and brown people.
We believe, as Christians and in the West, in and an axiological truth, which that every human being has written on their heart, some form of right or wrong.
You know what? That might be true. It might be written on your heart, but your college dropout ass is clearly fucking illiterate. And speaking of illiteracy, how long did you spend memorizing axiological just hoping that you could use it to trick teenagers into thinking that you're smarter than a fifth grader?
It is inherently wrong to steal other people's stuff. It's inherently wrong to walk into people's homes uninvited. It's inherently wrong to go after somebody and harass them or whatever. Yeah. So it's a universal law that you don't get to go places where you aren't invited.
Now hold on, that's only wrong in certain situations, right? Like when you're a brown person trying to seek a better life for your family or escape persecution. But I hear it's perfectly okay. In fact, they just let you do it when you're Alexander the Grope's teeny tiny little hand. You can just shove it in places it's not invited and grab things that don't belong to you whenever you want. And last I checked, your Wonder Bread looking ass ain't Cherokee, Charlie, so I don't think that the people whose land you're standing on invited assholes like you here either. So you'll have to forgive us while we all take a moment to collectively not give a fuck about what your fragile little fascist feelings have to say about right and wrong.
So what are you doing this Easter to celebrate with your family?
Well, I am glad you asked. I'm actually heading down to Texas right around.
So I look forward to seeing this if they let them in, if they let them be part of it. I don't know if they will or not. We also had this come out. We'll talk about it for a minute. Donald Trump says this is the hand of the man that the Democrats feel should be brought back to the United States because he is such a fine and innocent person. They said he is not a member of MS-13, even though he's got MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. And 2 highly respected courts found that he was a member of MS-13. That's also a lie. All this is a lie. Beat up his wife, etc. I was elected to take a bad people out of the country, among other things. I must be allowed to do my job, make America great again. And we have this image. But it's photoshopped. Donald Trump is holding up an image that's photoshopped. So first of all, this image is being passed around that showed a pot leaf on these knuckles. It shows a pot leaf, smiley face, a cross, a Christian cross, and a skull. Okay? A pot leaf, a smiley face, and it looks like, from the pictures I've seen, they may be Abreu Garcia's tattoos. I'm not actually sure. Right? I've seen the image, but I can't tell if it's doctored. I can't tell how faded it is or whatever. And someone on Twitter said that the pot leaf stands for marijuana, M. The smiley face stands for smiley face, S. The cross, the Christian cross, stands for 1. And for some reason, a skull stands for 3. But none of these are associated with that. Like, there's no other documents you can show me that says, oh, MS-13 gang members have this tattoo. It means MS-13. MS-13 gang members literally get MS-13 tattooed on them. Okay? So someone, based on that Twitter response, photoshopped MS-13 on there. And they even tried to make it like sneaky, like it's actually on there, even though it's a bad Photoshop. So let me show you what I mean. Like, they even tried to make it seem like it was centered on the fingers. Like, if you were just going to put MS-13, you could put them anywhere. They made it try to seem like it was centered on the fingers, including this 3 that's kind of at an angle and over to the side. This is a Photoshop. The president of our United States is holding up a fucking Photoshopped photo to prove that the person that he illegally deported, every court's ruled that it's an illegal deportation, was a member of a gang. And then idiots like this account, Jack Posobiec, says, you really can see where it said MS-13. I know the libs will disagree. They have to, but it's plain as day. What? Like it's Times New Roman. Are you shitting me? You really think that? This is the pictures that I've seen. This is what is meeting with the senator. And then people are like, look, there's devil horns up here. What? That's part of a lion tattoo. And that's a Christian cross on the line. But this is what people are going off of. The pot leaf, smiley face, and a cross. And it's hard to even tell what the last one is at all. Even this one says, this is from Andy No. It says the tattoo appears to be a marijuana leaf, a smiley face, and the number 13. It's not. It's a skull. It's a Christian cross. When you remember when Trump was sharing AI videos and we all thought he didn't know that it was an AI video? And people are like, he knows. He's just trolling you. God, you libs will believe anything. He's just trolling you. He's trolling you guys. Well, now he's sitting in the White House. Now he's sitting in the White House with doctored photos. Pretending like they're the real photos. But the court ruled, even if he is, let's say he actually is a gang member, just prove it in court. Just prove it in court. That's fine. We can do that. Obviously domestic violence is never okay, right? If you're in that type of situation, get help. You know, domestic violence never okay. But that's not a reason to send anybody to a death camp either. You know what I mean? If those claims are true that she made, okay. Prove in court, right? She dropped it for a reason. Maybe it was because she was afraid or whatever. Prove it in court. They can be separated, but you still can't send him to a death camp just because you want to. I don't know. It's fucked up. Snatch your Proud Boy. We did that one. Trump's fucking fake. What is? I do really like this guy's account. Generic art dad.
I don't understand how lobbying even works. Of course you don't. It's designed that way. Do you just give politicians gifts? Depends what we want. How do you pay them? Nope, that's illegal. We have to get creative. You keep saying that, but no one will just explain how it all works. Okay, why does everyone care so much about lobbying all of a sudden? Obviously, lobbyists represent different interests, maybe for a corporation or an industry. My job is to find ways to incentivize politicians to help us out. How do you give them the money, though, to vote for the bills that you want? Oh, God, where do I start? First off, we're not like you. Yeah, some lobbying is about voting, but also you need to think bigger. Well, like toppling governments? Not that big. Usually. Let's say that I make leaded gasoline and there is a pesky clean energy bill. Every bill goes to a committee. So I'm going to try to have the head of that committee make sure that that bill never makes it on the schedule. Do you ever wonder why 90% of bills don't make it out of committee? Jesus Christ.
I think that's the biggest problem. It's one thing to try to lobby everybody to get something passed. It seems a lot easier to lobby specifically the people that are on the committees and have it never see light of day. Either that or the speaker, and the speaker never brings it in front of on the floor. One of the two.
Familiar with him. He must work for a different firm. Or maybe I know that some regulations are coming down the pipe for my industry and I want to get in front of those. So maybe I will craft some watered down regulations that I want you to sponsor as a bill. You write your own legislation? Of course, I don't want them messing it up. I do all sorts of shady stuff, like getting politicians to cut funding to federal agencies, or maybe I want a tariff put on an industry. Or an entire country. But isn't it illegal to incentivize people to vote a certain way? Well, no, it's illegal for me to try to sway citizens' votes for an election, but not for politicians and policies. Politicians are better than you. So you can just pay them? No, that's actually still illegal. Instead, we have like 4 buckets of strategies that we can pull from. The first bucket is helping politicians further their careers. This is why you're always talking about donating to re-election campaigns. Or we threaten to fund their opponent. The second bucket is nepotism. Maybe we hire someone's son or the wife of a Supreme Court justice as a well-compensated consultant. You're lobbying the Supreme Court? Technically, you can't lobby SCOTUS. Third bucket is enriching politicians after they leave office. So hiring them on as massively overpaid lobbyists. Holy shit. Where they're lobbying their old colleagues. Yeah. Oh, and the fourth bucket is finding.
And then they just rotate in and out, right? You might be a senator for a while, then a lobbyist for a while, then a CEO of that company for a while, then a senator for a while, then a lobbyist for a while, then
finding ways to enrich them while they are still a politician. And that's why politicians are so wealthy. That's probably its own video, but we certainly help. Why is everyone so interested?
By the way, did you guys see that the Pope is back from having basically pneumonia, right? He's doing better. He's doing his official duties now or whatever, but he dipped the fuck out on J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance went to the Vatican for Easter. And the Pope dipped the fuck out, would not meet with him.
Interested in how lobbying works all of a sudden. Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe it's things like scientists finding out that we have 50% more microplastics in our brains than we did 10 years ago. This is why we know that we're not like you. Did no one tell your people that you're not supposed to eat plastic? Well, we were forced to eat it, so maybe we'll help you catch up. I don't understand how lobbying even works.
He does have a really good account. Generic Art. I usually watch him on TikTok. I didn't realize he had this account. Well, I guess everybody has a YouTube too.
What
is this one?
Use the strategies of the ultra wealthy and the people that scam us out of money? What if we could use their strategies against them? But instead of them extracting wealth from us and funneling it up towards them, we are redistributing wealth from them towards us and towards causes that we are passionate about. As I've been making these videos about how ultra wealthy are taking money from us and also changing the world in ways that work for them, I started thinking,
well, it could be the other way around too. J.D. Vance is punishing the Pope by not seeing him. It seems like if you're going to go to the Vatican, you'd see the Pope, even if it was just for the photo op and to prove they're on the side. But the Vatican, who's relatively neutral in political topics, has spoken out against Trump's policies quite a bit this time around.
For us to change the world, we have to donate our time and our money and our resources towards organizations that are fighting for causes that we're passionate about, as we should. But we are giving away our wealth. And it's just another example of how these systems are unfair. We're playing 2 different games. And I announced last week the launch of a cryptocurrency, which should make every single one of you
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Technically, the coin is created. It's not available to purchase. It may not ever be. But I wanted to explain the idea behind the Be Good coin, because even if it's never available, I do think this could fundamentally change how we fight back against abuses of power and wealth inequality. And as I've been learning about meme coins and pump and dump schemes, I started thinking, what if we could create a meme coin that we could put mechanisms in place to make sure that it could not be a pump and dump? And that I have figured out. But what I haven't figured out is this. Is ideally, as people buy into it, it increases in value. Maybe it fluctuates because that's what happens. But it's not you giving your money away. And then based off a predetermined schedule, coins are released, as happens with every cryptocurrency. But instead of it going to miners, it's sent to public wallets. And then based off of market cap valuations of the coin, those wallets would be released where we could vote. What do we want to use the money in that wallet to fund? Do we want to feed a homeless camp? Maybe as it increases in value, we provide housing. Maybe we're fighting food scarcity on a national.
This might blow up in his face. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't understand how you just made like $350 million out of thin air. Crypto. You just made a new cryptocurrency. No, I didn't do that. I am not involved with that. That's all Crypto Jack. Sure. Okay, Crypto Jack, why did you make a new crypto? To make a shitload of money. Is $350 million really that much to a billion? No, that's what we've made so far. We're sitting on another 800 million Trump coins that are currently valued around.
It's fine. It's okay, guys. Don't worry about it.
5.6 billion. Not me, though. I'm not.
I appreciate it.
Can you make me a crypto? No. Why not? Because you're poor and no one knows who you are. But you can just make a whole new currency, huh? Oh, yeah. It's actually surprisingly easy to create a meme coin.
You guys see Adam22 did it. He pumped and dumped his fans.
But if you want to get people to pay for
recently,
it, you have to have.
And then he had to come on and say that the No Jumper podcast, he's going broke and begging people to subscribe to him.
And brand recognition. Or you can just be president, right? Bingo! Because who doesn't want to support the president? And by support, you mean pay to play? Mm-hmm. And that's not illegal. Oh no, it's like super illegal. But through a series of incestuous companies that are ultimately owned by the Trump Trust, Trump himself is far enough removed to have plausible deniability. I'm not involved. So if I wanted a favor from the president, what, I just buy some of his coins? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like a juiced and lubed up version of the real estate scheme. What's the real estate scheme? Yeah, so in the past, if you wanted like a $25 million favor from someone like Trump, you can't just hand him a bag of cash. So we would have you do something like buy some of our real estate for $25 million more than it's actually worth. But now I can just give you the bag of cash if I buy your crypto. Not me, the companies. And also, crypto is completely anonymous. Well, I thought all the transactions were public. Yeah, but we have no idea who owns the wallet that's sending us $50 million. Wait, but then how do you know who's bribing you? No, we do know. It's just that you can't prove that we know. Oh, right. Plausible deniability. That was the lube. Now here's the juice. If you give us $50 million for $25 million worth of crypto, not only are you giving us $25 million, but you're increasing the value of Trump coins. So on top of the 25 that I'm already giving you, you're getting millions more because of the increased value of your stockpile? Bingo! And we're only 3 months in. In 4 years, we could make trillions. Not me, though. No, I don't make a penny.
I think it's crazy. He does another one. Let me see if I can find it, actually. The companies that invest in other... Oh, this is it. Private equity. The companies that invest in other companies. We'll watch these right quick. Okay, like Toys R Us. You guys know there was nothing wrong with Toys R Us. And then it just went fucking bankrupt, right? There was nothing wrong with Toys R Us. People are like, oh, Amazon and the internet did. No, there was nothing wrong with Toys R Us, and then it went bankrupt. So what they did was a private equity firm came in, purchased Toys R Us for their real estate, the locations they're in, sold off everything but their real estate to a sister company. Now, this sister company takes Toys R Us and sells off all of their commodities, everything they're holding in warehouses and shit, to a sister company. And then they hold the Toys R Us, which is just the stock that they actually have in their stores, not in warehouses, nothing else. Then they sell their properties. After they sell their properties, they charge them rent to rent it back. After they sell their warehouses, they charge them warehouse fees and logistic fees and shipping fees. Then Toys R Us is like, well, we can't fucking pay it. So they take the name and brand of Toys R Us, sell it to Macy's. Like, they just destroyed the fucking company and made billions of dollars doing it. And the people who got punished, who got fucked, were the stockholders, the employees, and those people, right? Like, that's how private equity works. You know who else they did it to? Almost the exact same fucking way? Red Lobster. Red Lobster. A company came in, bought Red Lobster, and said their only focus was their real estate locations, the real estate they were on. Sold off everything valuable out of the company, owned all the real estate that they're in, shut 90% of them down, and then sold the name off. Like, private equity is wild.
So you only work for companies that are failing? No. We buy companies for me to come in and shut them down because they're not doing well. No, they're doing fine. Why are you closing them up then? To sell their assets. Why? Because that's our company. What is private equity? So your company is buying other companies that are doing okay, selling off all their assets, and then using that money to buy another company you're going to gut instead of just offering a service? Whoa, that's not fair. We don't gut all of the companies, and we do provide some services. Like what? Oh, you're gonna love this. We do property management for some companies like Red Lobster. How did you get into that? It's actually quite clever. I mean, you're gonna love this. First, we bought Red Lobster. Then, we sold off all of their property. So you're gutting them.
So a lot of these huge chain companies, right? They bought up their property when it was. How long has your local Red Lobster been where it's at? They bought up property when it was super fucking cheap. It's prime property because other businesses are usually around them. It's commercial property, right? It's really, really good, valuable property. So these companies come in and say, the only thing valuable about you is your property. We want that, and we'll sell the rest. They just gut the company, and they make billions of dollars doing it.
No, this is where it gets good. You're going to love it. Third thing.
By the way, I saw a book girl in here earlier. I forgot to say thank you for the donation. I did get it. Happy Easter to you, too. And happy 250 years since Lexington and Concord. I saw that, too.
We sold Red Lobster to some schmuck. I thought that you were doing property management for him. Yes, and this is the genius.
So Red Lobster owned their property. But when they take the property away from them and sell it to two separate companies, they charge them ridiculous amounts of rent. So like the Red Lobster before, when it was a whole Red Lobster with his property, just paid property taxes and made money. They sell the property out from underneath it. So whoever buys the franchise, the Red Lobster, now has to make the same profit as before to pay everybody, right? Plus they have to pay $5,000 a month in fucking rent.
Of it because we sold all of their property to our parent company, and now they have to pay us rent. Oh, so you're like evil. I'm not familiar with that word. Evil? Mm-hmm. That one. Unscrupulous? Hurts people? Takes advantage of others for their own profit? Ah, you mean innovative. Yeah, we're very innovative.
He's got a 4-part series on this. We're going to watch the rest of them.
How could you possibly make a profit buying companies just to strip them for parts? Well, that's the genius of private equity. You're going to love this. Am I? First thing is we create a shell company to take out a loan to buy your company. Why would a bank lend a fake company that much money? Because your company is profitable and our shell company doesn't have anything. So we use your future earnings as the collateral to secure.
So they come out and say, we're going to buy Red Lobster, and Red Lobster's profitable at the time, or Toys R Us or whatever. And they say, well, you don't have any background. This is a brand new company. And they're like, yeah, but we're buying Red Lobster. So we want to use collateral off Red Lobster's future earnings.
Secure the loan, but you're gonna gut it. Yeah, but the bank doesn't know that. So once the shell company owns your company, we get to work. Are you loving this? No. Kind of a Debbie Downer, but just wait. Second thing, if we want to keep any of our new assets, we spin up new shell companies to buy them for pennies. How is this legal? Well, that's another word I'm not super familiar with. Anyways, third thing, our parent company charges your company massive management and consultant fees while we're selling off the rest of your assets. This is what I don't get. Why would I sell you my company if I could make more money just stripping it myself? Because you can't. So how do you? Oh, no, we can't do that either. But this is the part that I know you're going to love. Because after our shell company bought your company, we merged them. And I don't think like you. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So now your company owns the loan for your company.
They give the loan back. So like I take out a loan with my shell company and to buy Toys R Us on their future earnings. Okay. I get Toys R Us. I sell it to another shell company. That shell company merges with Toys R Us, and they got their loan back to them. So so a lot of these companies are in no debt. And then overnight, they lose all of their real estate, and they're millions or billions of dollars in debt for a loan to buy themselves.
So when your company defaults on your loan during your bankruptcy, we get to walk away with all those assets and consulting fees. Oh.
It's like these weird games. The same thing with taxes and shit. So weird games that rich people can play, or like never paying capital gains tax. Right? I'm always paid in shares. I always take loans against those shares. I don't collect a paycheck, but I spend, $1 billion a year.
Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. Oh, you're going to love this. I was just trying to figure out how much pressure it takes to bite through someone's jugular. No, I actually don't love that. How could you possibly
part 3.
company money knowing full well that you're going to default on the loan? Why? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I can actually answer this one. The thing is that we still make money even if you don't pay us back. How the fuck does that make sense? Oh, I'm going to love this.
Oh, thank you, Q Idiot.
Collect origination fees and restructuring fees and interest. There's no
Q Idiot donated 2 cartons enough for 2 cartons of eggs. Hopefully.
way that they're paying that much in fees. Well, they don't have to. We just sell the loan to someone else before they file for bankruptcy. Why would anyone buy bad loans from you? Because we package it up with other.
And they sell it. I've actually been at companies that were being bought by like investment firms, private equity firms, because they were so profitable. And while we're at the company, they sell it as something good. Like, oh, this is going to be so great. We'll expand. We'll open up these new horizons. They've got contacts in this town or this country that we can get into. We never been. When I worked for a windmill company, it was when the private equity is coming in to buy it, right? And they were talking about how they could get us into these foreign countries where we didn't have market before, how they had deals with these other companies that we could work with, blah, blah, blah. And they literally stripped it down to nothing. Fired everybody, and made billions on the way out.
Loans, and then we sell it as a financial product. Oh, I'm loving this. So you did know that private equity was going to gut the companies and not pay you back? I mean, they don't tell us that they're gutting the company. They say things like, we'll be optimizing operations, or we're unlocking value through asset sales. And my favorite, we'll be returning value to the shareholders. Okay, so you did know. Yeah, we know. But you don't disclose it when you sell off the packaged debt. Bit of a gray area. We sell it as high-risk debt, and that's not fraud. Fraud requires material misrepresentation of fact.
That was funny, Q Idiot.
Gotten the company. I love you. I love you too. Who even buys these financial packages? That is the beauty of the whole system. We are incentivized to make this happen, and then we shift the risk to consumers through high-risk ETFs or mutual funds or pension funds. The people that bear.
So who pays for it? People in the stock market. With their fucking IRAs, 401ks, pension funds.
The brunt of this aren't exactly at the table to push back. Hey, has anyone ever told you got like a really nice neck? Oh, well, thank you. You like that? He's trying to bite an artery. So banks loan your company money.
He's trying to bite an artery.
I don't actually understand how.
There's one more, part 4.
Why
this
did
one.
you sell Twitter? So after you got the company that you bought, you just have them file for bankruptcy? Oh, no. We have like so many more tricks. Next, I'm probably going to take out a loan. Why would a bank who just gave you a loan that they know you're going to default on give you another loan for the company that they know you're gutting? Well, that's ridiculous. I don't think they would. That's why I talked to Gary. Hey, and as you can see, we had a very profitable quarter. Yep. How is the company profitable if you're siphoning off assets and money back to you?
Because they're selling everything. The company looks profitable because they're selling everything they own, including their name sometimes, like Cheddar Bay Biscuits from Red Lobster or Toys R Us name to Macy's. Like, they sell the shit.
Your firm. Because we increased revenue. We sold those assets, and we shortened appointment times to see more clients, and we also cut costs by closing locations and cutting labor. We had a really good quarter.
On paper.
Which is why he thinks that you're making the company more efficient. It's a good company. Most of the time, private equity is trying to optimize the business, whatever that actually looks like in real life. But that's why this doesn't look that odd to him, which is why you're giving the company a $200 million loan? Yeah, sure. Cool. All right, so yeah, now we just pay out a special dividend to the firm, and we just made a sweet $200 million. Wait, if you can just transfer money back to the firm, then why do all the fancy accounting with the management and the consultant fee? Because special dividends can only be paid from profits, and management fees are usually negotiated ahead of time to be paid out regularly, so they actually count as bills. But bills make the company look less profitable. Good God, you common people are thick, yes! But those bills are dependable income for the firm, like rent. And here's the best part. If the company doesn't have enough money to pay their bills, the firm, as the owner, has the authority to decide which bills do and don't get paid. So you can keep paying yourself while you lay off employees.
Right. They'll pay themselves their consulting fees, their management fees and shit, but they'll say, we can't pay this vendor or that vendor that they have nothing to do with.
And tell your vendors that you can't afford to pay them. Yeah, okay, you get it. It's like one last big heist before you bankrupt the company. Huh? Oh, no, I could keep telling you about the gross things that we do for weeks. I just wish that you appreciated it a little bit. Hey, you get it, right? What? Yeah. Do you think that guy would give me a loan to buy a company? Honestly? I think he'd eat a rock if you asked him to. But no, you're a consumer. Loans work different for consumers. So after you got the company that you bought,
you're not rich enough to play with us.
Now you just made like $350 million out of thin air. Crypto.
That was the Trump one. We already saw that one. All right, here we go. New podcast I'm excited about, especially with Easter coming up. You guys should tune in.
What's my favorite movie? This is actually an interesting question because I get it a lot, and people expect me to answer, The Passion of the Christ or King of Kings or like one of the more Jesus-y movies. But honestly, if you were publicly executed, would you want to watch that at the end of a long day? No thank you. No thank you. I just want to watch something that goes down pretty easy. Honestly, favorite movie of all time, like I will always watch it if it's on TV, Dumb and Dumber. I mean, it is a perfect.
You think? You think it's CGI?
Movie. So many quotable moments. Like to this day, if anyone ever mentions the country Austria, like someone's praying for their cousin in Austria or whatever, I will always think to myself, Austria? Well then, a good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Because he thinks that she's talking about Australia. It's just that's why that's funny, and it just, oh man, it's so good. What about you? What's your favorite movie?
The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's another one where he's this one arguing with the Easter Bunny.
So some people think that there's like weird beef between us, but I gotta say I love everyone. That's kind of my thing. So that includes you, and I got nothing but love for you.
The devil says, he's been talking about how I was tortured and beaten and killed, and I don't like it. The devil's like, the Passion of the Christ. Yeah, that makes sense.
Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. And I have no beef with you. To be honest with you, before you reached out to have me on the podcast, I'd literally never heard of you. So, why would I have beef with you? It makes no sense.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that's So wait, did you say you've never heard of me?
Oh, no. I don't mean it in an insulting way. I just mean I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm not on social media. I don't watch much TV. Like a lot of people are talking about White Lotus right now. I have no idea what that is. I don't even know what streamer it's on. Are you an actor? Ooh, are you on White Lotus?
No, I'm not on White Lotus. So wait, so you're saying that over all the years of doing what you do on Easter, which arguably is a bit of a lighter lift than what I had to do, you're saying over all that time you've never once heard mention of Jesus?
No, I know what Cheez-Its are. I love Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its?
I had a weed gummy on my way over here, and I would crush a box of those right now.
Cheez-Its are great, but that's not... there just aren't that many things that people associate with Easter, There's you, and then there's me. Like, I've heard of you.
Well, yeah, I'm the Easter Bunny. Everyone knows Easter Bunny.
Oh, boy. Look, I get that you have pagan origins and that you're probably not super familiar with Christianity. That's cool. But you've, heard of, I don't know, the Bible?
No, of course. That's the band, right? That has the song with the amazing ending. No. Tears streaming down your face.
Coldplay?
You think the Bible is the band Coldplay?
I'm more of a fan of the early Bible albums, not so much the dance pop thing they've been doing recently. No, thank you.
I'm just going to change the subject. Aside from Easter, what is your, say, second favorite holiday?
Oh, that's easy. The one with, with Santa Claus and the reindeer and the trees and the decorations.
You're messing with me, aren't you?
Yep. Because I don't like you. We got beef, brah. You and we are not friends. We are enemies.
Oh, that's fine. I love my enemies, so I still love you.
Oh, you are so annoying.
So some people think...
He wouldn't even say Christmas. He's like Santa Claus, and these are very good. And even though they are AI, the dude has to come up with the scripts. So he's probably a pretty funny comedian as well. Like you can't just say AI, make it funny. It just wouldn't make any sense.
You're the dude from high school I see at the gym, or a friend of a friend or a second cousin. You're a co-worker I sometimes eat lunch with. You're one of my many acquaintances. Christmas is about spending time with friends and family. Just because you're not in one of those two categories doesn't mean that I won't still do something special for you. 'Cause Christmas is about giving, so here's what I'll do. I'm gonna send you a Christmas text. Christmas text, Christmas text. I'm gonna send you a Christmas text. Christmas text, Christmas text. I'm gonna send you a Christmas text. Christmas text, Christmas text. I'm gonna type Merry Christmas exclamation point and then press send. Maybe I'll just copy and paste it. Well, it's only 2 words, I might as well just type it. If you're thinking of calling me to thank me, oh, please don't. That's not how this works. Texting is as far as this relationship goes. And keep your response brief. I have way more important people in my life. You're not even in the top 50. It's not that I don't care about you. Well, yeah, I don't really care about you, but doesn't mean that I won't still do something special for you. 'Cause Christmas is about giving, so here's what I'll do.
Christmas text song. He doesn't post very often, but he's got a few. Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. What is this? There's a lot of music-based stuff, I guess.
I can't believe Hulk Hogan beat Andre the Giant.
I don't think this would be funny. I don't know anything about wrestling. I want to watch this next video with you guys, but it makes me so fucking mad, dude. This is an elderly lady that probably has she might have something wrong with her. But she's like talkative, probably because she just wants somebody to talk to, right? You meet people that just basically talk constantly because they bottled up, they don't have anything to talk about. She may have some mental issues, but to see the way they treat this elderly lady is fucking disgusting, dude. Check this video out.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Watch out.
And then to fucking smile. 6 goddamn cops there. And then to fucking smile. Just watch. You'll see.
These deputies with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department escorts an elderly lady out of the building. One of the deputies just literally shoves her, leaving her lying on the ground, apparently injured. Surely the other deputies there
shoved her down to the ground,
took quick action, rendered medical treatment,
and left her laying there
to the elderly lady, and then arrested their colleague for assault and battery. Do you think that happened? Of course not.
Yes, it is Taco from the League. His real name, he's a comedian. His name's John Lejeune. I can't, whatever that page was we were just on. In
fact, not even close.
Taco MacArthur. Now you'll see her crime. The reason she's being punished this way. It's me.
Just came out, though this apparently happened back
Old Man Kelsey's Ocean
at a jail in Sacramento County, California. Multiple deputies were in the process of...
Basically, she's on their nerves. Like she's talking to them here, and they just want her to sign the paper, and she's on their nerves. So they shove her to the fucking ground, laugh about it, and leave her laying there.
Finding out a woman for release from custody. That process included the woman having to sign a document and answering 3 questions.
Stop talking. This will not happen again, officers. No.
So she's apologizing, saying this won't happen again. I'm sorry. This will never happen again.
No, we're honorable citizens, my husband and I, for this.
Let's focus on this.
For this, listen.
Sign one more time.
Just one more statement.
Really?
One
so,
statement.
listen to me.
Okay.
So, I need you to listen.
Okay, please don't touch me.
I need you to listen
Please
to
watch
me.
your contact, okay?
Okay.
Please stand back. You will need me to sign?
You need to stop talking and just listen to us.
What did you?
So her only crime here was getting on his nerves. She said, "You need me to sign," and she was signing. And then he went above and beyond and said, "You need to stop fucking talking and listen to us."
Say,
Form.
look how they make the officers talk.
Sign the form.
Okay.
If you want
you
to
better
leave,
be
sign
more
the form.
polite. Try to be civilized.
I've been
right?
extremely polite with
Okay.
you.
No,
Complaints?
you want to hear what I'm saying?
Like, I get it. To be completely honest, she would probably get on my nerves. But that's why I don't have a job where I interact with the public. Right? I wouldn't be a good cop. I know that. I wouldn't be good customer service. I know that. I'm not a great salesman. I know that. People get on my fucking nerves. But if you're going to be in this job, in this role, doing this, then get a different fucking job, dude. You're not good at it.
I don't, really.
She was about to sign the form, and then this deputy lost his temper, and he yanked the...
And it still doesn't explain. He yanked the pen away from her. See it in the air? It still doesn't explain why the other 5 fucking cops let him do it. I like the analogy where Walter Masterson's walking around with an apple pie. And he said this was made with 10 apples. Only one bad one with like maggots and rotten and shit, flies, fly larvae embedded in it. But the rest of them's good apples, right? Most of them's good apples. The vast majority, 90% of them's good apples. There's only one bad apple. You wouldn't eat this pie?
pen thing away from her. Then, like a pack of hyenas, the deputies sort of surround this woman.
Okay.
Start walking this way.
Don't push me.
Now he's pushing her.
What?
Shut the... She says, "Don't push me." He says, "Shut the fuck up."
She's escorted out of the building by multiple deputies.
And she's being released. Whatever she did, she's either got to come back to court or she's already done her time. That's already happened. Right? It's not like they're taking her in and she's being released.
As they get towards the doors of the building, one of the deputies can be heard on camera saying, "Have a good night." And then she is brutally shoved out the door.
Have a good night. You'll be okay. Oh.
Did you see that fucking body cam? Hold on, we'll back it up. Like it's hard to tell how hard he shoved her until you see this angle. Watch this.
Out of the building by multiple deputies. As they get towards the doors of the building, one of the deputies can be heard on camera saying, "Have a good night." And then she is brutally shoved out the door.
Have a good night. You'll be okay. Oh.
And she's on the ground moaning.
Brutally shoved out the door.
Have a good night. You'll be okay. Oh.
Someone even says, "You'll be okay." And they all go, "Ooh, oh, good shove."
By multiple deputies. As they get towards the doors of the building, one of the deputies can be heard on camera saying, "Have a good night." And then she is brutally shoved out the door.
Have a good night. You'll be okay. Oh.
It's all concrete. And I don't think she hits the pylon, but still it's there. She could have very easily.
Who
turns off the body camera
for that? They were the ones charged by our society with protecting that woman, an elderly woman. They violated that trust. Then they smirk about it and they laugh about it.
I don't know. Let's see. This is the longer video.
Watch how these deputies with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department took quick action, rendered medical treatment to the elderly lady, and then arrested their colleague for assault and battery.
I want to see if anything happened to him or if there's a case ongoing or something. This is the civil rights lawyer. He's on YouTube. He's very good.
She called for help for that. They were the ones charged by our society with protecting that woman. An elderly. Welcome back to the channel. This footage just came out. What happened, though? This apparently happened back on October 7th, 2024 at a...
So probably nothing yet. It just happened in October.
Jail in Sacramento County, California. Multiple body cams and surveillance cameras captured what happened on that night shortly before midnight. Multiple deputies were in the process of signing out a woman for release from custody. That process included the woman having to sign a document and answering 3 questions. The deputies' faces were blurred by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department.
Hello. Experience. Hi.
Hello, let me see your right hand. All right, just this one, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna go like this.
Yeah. What is this?
Because I gotta make sure that you're...
It doesn't look like, what is this supposed to be? Anyway.
Okay, anyways. All right, so you have court.
I have court.
You have court.
Okay, this is a joke. They keep doing it.
No joke.
Grocery.
Stop
this
talking.
will not happen again, officers. No. We're honorable citizens, my husband and I. We own this beautiful home in the North Natomas area. Okay. And they've been trespassing in our backyards, on Carneros Creek, and I told them not to trespass. And they are not, well, they use superstition, and they know your badges, your name.
Just go ahead and sign on that pad, okay?
This is very serious. They know you by badge, and they have you act in a certain way, including ICE, and they're looking to make them aggressive, sue the department, or ridicule them.
If you want to go home, you gotta sign.
Like, she may have mental issues. I don't know what she's arguing here about. People walking behind her home and they know the cops or something.
Yes, okay. I need my purse.
But you still can't shove her to the ground, right?
Give you all that stuff in just a moment, ma'am.
Okay, the purse. I need to go home. Okay. I don't have my glasses, so it won't be very legible.
That's fine.
Anyway, I don't want the court. Please erase that. Make a big X.
I don't want to do that.
No, you cannot. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to go. There was a court
If you don't go to court, you don't go home.
What are you talking about? There was a court for this.
After several minutes of back and forth between her and this officer who clearly hates his job, the situation began to escalate, no thanks to the officer. He can be heard using explicit language, and he tells her that she needs to stop expletive talking.
For this,
let's focus on this.
For this, listen.
Sign one more
just one more statement.
Really?
One
So, like,
statement.
listen to me.
Okay.
So, like, I need you to listen.
Okay, please don't touch me.
I need you to listen.
Please watch your contact, okay?
Okay.
Please stand back. You need me to sign?
You need to stop talking and just listen to us.
What did you
Sign
say?
the form.
Look how they make the officers talk.
Sign the form.
Okay,
if you want
you
to
better
leave,
be
sign
more
the form.
polite. Try to be civilized,
I've been
right?
extremely polite with
Okay,
you.
no, I'm a
5 hours
citizen,
that
and we pay part of your...
Even if it was just that, like, you can let that slide, right? He got mad. He said, just fucking listen, sign the paper. I've been extremely polite. This is dragging on.
salary.
But of course, it's never just that.
We pay our taxes,
It's the sheriff's department.
and we are very. Please don't have another police to come and take me out of the grocery store for trespassing.
You want to go home, sign
People, customers don't trespass.
Sign for it.
These people were trespassing. They have this. They are confused.
Okay. I have 3 questions for you. Please listen to me, okay?
Yes.
While you were here in jail, did you get injured?
I wasn't here. I wasn't in jail. I was in that room.
Okay. Again, I need you to not talk. Just focus on me and listen to my questions.
Yes, but I'm correcting your statement. Okay, I was
While
in that
you were
room.
here in this building, did
Yes.
you get injured at all? While you were here in this building?
In my abdomen.
How did you get injured in your abdomen?
There is some bodily harm that these women cause.
Okay.
With AI.
Would you like to...
Okay, I'm not going to continue. I was not. Let's put it that way.
Okay, you were
Stop
not.
it.
Perfect.
I told you this, and okay. Your next question.
Next question. Would
Please.
you like to see a nurse?
No.
Okay. Do you have any complaints other than everything that you've already been saying over the past 5 hours?
Well, I have complaints about the contract, of course, and the fact that I'm here because I went to shop in a grocery store, and they have done this repeatedly. Look at your record. They want me out of the house. They took our IDs. You want to hear what I'm saying?
I don't, really.
I don't want to hear what you say, Deputy Sheriff.
Do you have
Really?
complaints that were
Sheriffs and
happened in
deputy
this
sheriffs.
building?
I saw your problem. All the sheriffs and the deputy sheriffs. I said what's going on, and I have done, and I have made the comment last time.
I'm just going to stand here and...
How many sound? I said, what do you mean two more? Okay, listen, criminals are controlling your departments. I need a report, exactly what I signed. I'm going to have a photocopy, right? Okay, I'm going to report this to the police. You are the police, you are the sheriff. I reported you in the past, I reported it. This doesn't make any sense. We don't know where this goes. It can go to any criminal entity. And these women, trust me, they're criminals, and they're dumb criminals because they're dumb. They're dumb, and they want to make dumb sheriffs and police.
It doesn't appear to me that she even signed the form. It's like she was about to sign the form, and then this deputy lost his temper, and he yanked the pen thing away from her. Then, like a pack of hyenas, the deputies sort of surround this woman. They grab her.
Okay.
Start walking this way.
Don't push me.
Shut the up.
What?
Just start walking this
What are
way.
you doing?
She's escorted out of the building by multiple deputies, one of which is accusing her of having assaulted his colleague, which everyone there knows she did not do.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
We're escorting you outside.
They ran her into a shut door as well.
You go without assaulting my partner.
Me, I assaulted
Yes, you did. You're okay.
Okay, they're controlling you. Be careful.
You'll be okay.
They want to sue the department. I'm telling you. They want to sue the department.
Okay.
Okay, this is terrible contact. This is contact.
You'll be okay.
You're going to be reported. FBI is overseeing this and how you act.
As they get towards the doors of the building, one of the deputies can be heard on camera saying, "Have a good night," and then she is brutally shoved out the door.
Have a good night. You'll be okay.
But now the footage comes out, and now at least one of those deputies is, of course, on paid administrative leave, while
of course
use of force is investigated by the internal affairs of the Sheriff's Department and also by the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office. But why wasn't that done back in October, and why isn't the guy who shoved her in jail right now? Well, this popped up on Reddit thanks to This Is Butter, and it went viral on Reddit. Then the local news saw it. Then all of a sudden they officially released the footage and announced that this deputy is on paid leave. I don't think I really need to even break down why this was a Fourth Amendment violation, what happened to this woman. The footage speaks for itself. It's disgusting. Every one of those guys needs to be fired, possibly prosecuted, because they were entrusted with the badge while observing.
This Is Butter. I've seen it on Reddit before. He just posts just police body cam, dash cam, surveillance videos. He doesn't have an opinion on it. It's not opinion. He just posts it.
This woman literally flying through the air.
Look at her. She's probably 60, 50, 60. Look at her. The way they shoved her.
A criminal assault and battery. Who does she call for help for that? They were the ones charged by our society with protecting that woman, an elderly woman. They violated that trust. Then they smirk about it and they laugh about it. These guys are no better than the crooked cops we discussed in yesterday's video.
So it seems like there's an investigation. One of them's on administrative leave.
From New Mexico. I'll put all the contact information for the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and also for the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office. They cannot be allowed to get away with this. And also the rest of their faces need to be unblurred. They need to be exposed, just like other criminals in our society. Let me know in a comment how this footage makes you feel. I'll continue to follow it. You can follow me by subscribing here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.
Pretty fucking ridiculous. I don't know. We also have the Florida State's university student accused of killing 2 people and injuring 6 others in a shooting at the university on Thursday is the son of a local sheriff's deputy. So a sheriff's deputy's son, and apparently one of the guns used was was registered to the deputy, and spent time training with law enforcement and serving on the sheriff's advisory council in the years before his alleged attack. The sheriff's department said that they knew he had a lot of training because he had done a lot of the training with them. When he was taken into custody after being shot and injured by university police, Phoenix Ochner, 20, was carrying a handgun that used to be the service weapon of Sheriff's Deputy Jessica Ochner, according to officials and records. Police have not disclosed any potential motive in the shooting. There don't appear to be any connections between the suspect and any of the victims. Tallahassee Police Chief Lawrence Revel said Friday. Since the shooting, Ochner's previous classmates from his time at Tallahassee State College have said his political beliefs were extreme and they were made uncomfortable with his concerning rhetoric, including describing civil rights icon Rosa Parks as being in the wrong, defending the use of Nazi symbols, and disparaging pro-Palestine and Black Lives Matter protesters. It's not clear if politics was a factor in Thursday's shootings. So this is an ultra-right nationalist police bootlicking that you don't see anything on right-wing Twitter about it. It's weird. Unless they're calling it a fake setup. He's a patsy. He was part of Turning Point USA on the FSU campus and helped bring Charlie Kirk there in February. More about his childhood and upbringing are also coming into focus. A review of court records show Phoenix Ochner had a tumultuous childhood with a woman identified in the documents as his biological mother, accused of removing him from the U.S. in violation of custody agreement when he was 10 years old. Sheriff Walter McNeil told reporters that the suspect was steeped in the Leon County Sheriff's Office family and engaged in numerous training programs that we have. So it's not a surprise to us that he had access to weapons. Jessica Ochner has served in the Sheriff's Department for more than 18 years, McNeil said, adding that her service to this community has been exceptional. She did not respond to requests for comment. The Sheriff's Office said Friday that Jessica Ochner requested and was granted personal leave and was also transferred to the Property Crimes Unit due to the circumstances of the situation. She previously served as a school resource officer, McNeil said during a news conference Thursday. After the shooting, police recovered an AR-15 style rifle, in addition to the .45 caliber pistol and shotgun recovered at the scene. Inside of the car, Phoenix Ochner drove to campus. According to a law enforcement official familiar with the ongoing investigation, the car was registered to the suspected gunman's father. The multiple firearms indicate to investigators that he may have been prepared to shoot more people had he not been confronted by law enforcement, the official added. University police shot Phoenix Eigner on campus Thursday after he did not comply with commands, Revell said, adding he did not believe Eigner fired at officers. He has a significant but not life-threatening injuries and will remain in the hospital for a significant amount of time before he is taken to the detention facility, Revell said Friday. Eigner, who invoked his right not to speak when he was taken into custody, will face the charges up to and including first-degree murder once he is released from the hospital and taken into a detention facility, Revell said in a video message on Friday. The suspected gunman suffered from emotional dysregulation, for which he has been prescribed medication, according to a law enforcement source. Investigators are told during interviews with the family members that he had stopped taking some of his prescribed medication, and the source added, it's too soon to say whether this have played a role in Thursday's violence, but will likely be probed as investigators dig into his background. On Instagram, an account with Eigner's name and photo that was taken offline after he was publicly identified, including a biblical quote on his profile. It says, "You are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you, I shatter nations. With you, I destroy kingdoms." Phoenix Eigner is a registered Republican, according to Florida voter registration records. He was quoted in January in an FSU student newspaper article about anti-Trump protests in advance of the president's inauguration. Quote, "These people are usually pretty entertaining, usually not for good reasons. I think it's a little too late. He's, Trump, already going to be inaugurated on January 20th, and there's not really much you can do unless you outright revolt, and I don't think anyone wants that." Eigner is a junior political science major at Florida State. University spokesperson Stephen Stone said Friday, noting that Eigner had transferred to FSU for this spring semester from Tallahassee State College. He received an associate's degree from Tallahassee State in December. The college's director of communications, Amanda Clements, told CNN, because Eigner's mother is a Leon County Sheriff's deputy, the Sheriff Department won't investigate Thursday's shooting or have anything to do with the suspect's detention, Revell said. 5 current and former students at Tallahassee State College, where Eigner graduated from last year, told CNN that he made peers uncomfortable in class and during political discussions by expressing what they saw as extreme views. 2 brothers, Lucas and Logan Luzetti, said they took a national government class with Eigner at Tallahassee State College in the spring of 2023, where Lucas described Eigner espousing concerning rhetoric. Logan recalled conversations about gentrification, where Eigner said black people were ruining the property value of his neighborhood. Eigner also criticized Rosa Parks for refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus, Logan said. Eigner also claimed Joe Biden was not legitimate president of the United States, Lucas said. He would joke about the deaths of minorities, Lucas said. He talked about how Stonewall was bad for our society. He added, referring to a pivotal moment in the LGBTQ plus civil rights movement. Riley Pussons, who became the president of a nonpartisan political discourse club last fall, says he remembers Eigner calling protesters in the pro-Palestinian movement and demonstrations that followed the police killing of George Floyd dirty rats. Another club leader, Andrea Miranda, said Eigner's rhetoric towards minorities made her uncomfortable, saying the way he spoke about them was very demeaning and belittling. He never really had any respect for anyone in that club that didn't share his personal political views, Miranda added. CNN has not independently verified any claims about the suspect's beliefs. Reed Sabold, an FSU student, told CNN he knew Eigner from Tallahassee State College and encountered him in an extracurricular political club a few years ago. Sabold said Eigner was asked to leave the group, which discussed current events, due to behavior that unsettled the others. He had continually made enough people uncomfortable where certain people had stopped coming. That's kind of when we reached the breaking point with Phoenix, and we asked him to leave, Sabold told CNN. Sabold said Eigner's comments went beyond conservatism. Eigner had been taking class at FSU on authoritarian regimes, said David Batista, an FSU senior who was enrolled in a class with Eigner, and says he was on campus the day of the shooting. He said there were no red flags. He never said anything outrageous, he said, though there was one occasion where Eigner appeared to downplay the effects of a dictatorship. it never struck me that he was extreme as they say he is, Batista added. FSU President Richard McCullough told CNN Friday he was not aware of any warning signs or potential concerns shared with the school before the shooting. Investigators are looking at the possibility of a connection between the shooting and a protest scheduled for 2:45 p.m. by the university's Tallahassee Students for a Democratic Society, according to the law enforcement official, but the investigation is still in its early phases. The suspect was previously critical of that student group. So I don't know who the victims were, but if they're like going to be like organizers of that group, that's obviously a big red flag, right? I don't know. We got police fucking kids out here killing people. I'm as pro Second Amendment as you can be, but I heard Jon Stewart say it the other. I saw a clip of him talking to a congressperson, and the congressperson repeated the same thing, like basically their argument is more guns make us safer because people think twice. People aren't going to try that. People are going to be worried that you have a gun and that you might shoot them if they try something crazy. When does that happen? Because gun ownership keeps going up. It 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 keeps going up. When does that happen? I don't want to give up my firearms. I'm not advocating for getting rid of the Second Amendment or firearm ownership or whatever. I love the Second Amendment. I have ARs and AKs and all kinds of stuff that I lost in a boating accident. But if you're going to make the argument that taking away guns doesn't make us safer, so the other part must be true, that more guns make us more safe, when does that happen? It's crazy to have kids right now in school and to be terrified that someone's going to show up with a gun and just start fucking mowing them down. I've went and yelled at my son's school before. One day I was driving by and their school is set up like pods. There's 3 pods, like circle buildings with domes over the top, and they're connected by hallways. And I drove by one day going somewhere. I can't remember where I was going, but I took the road by the school. And I guess it was like warm that day, and teachers were like in and out and had some of their students out playing with a soccer ball or whatever, and they had their doors straight into their classrooms open. I stopped and yelled and spoke to the principal, and I was like, the world we live in, you can't fucking do this. You can't do that. You can't leave. This goes straight into a pod. Bypasses to the security doors, bypasses the main office, bypasses the lunchroom that's probably empty and all that shit, right? Everywhere that you could stop, and you could go right into the 8th grade, and every class is now open to you. You can't fucking prop open doors with a goddamn rock. But it's not their fault, right? I mean, it is. They shouldn't be doing that. But also, like, they also should be terrified that they're going to get gunned down every time they want their kids to have some fresh air. When I was in school, we went outside, right? We would leave the door open on pretty days and fucking see birds fly by and all kinds of shit. It is their fault for not following policy and procedure, but that policy and procedure shouldn't be needed. They shouldn't have to be worried about that. I don't know. Shit's getting weird. Part infinity, I guess. Let's see. That's all I got tonight, guys. I guess enjoy your Easter. Please consider supporting the show. It's not doing great financially right now, but that's all right. Support the show at coldbeer.fund. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. And good news about the campground. I was able to dig up where the septic tanks are. That's 2 septic tanks that we thought were actually full of sand. Seems like they're not full of sand. They're going to be usable. It's a long story, kind of why we thought they were full of sand. Like the riser for them had shifted, and I couldn't find the lid. But I found the lid, opened them up. It seems like they might be usable, so that might help us when we rebuild the campground. Nothing yet though, and thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to my sister's tomorrow evening just to have dinner there. Mariah already celebrated Easter with her mom last weekend, so we'll see my sister this weekend. And you guys have a happy Easter. Support the show if you can. Thank you for the donations that come in, and we'll see you around the next one. Have a good night. Don't do anything Trump would do because it probably requires a nationwide injunction because it's unconstitutional. But I'll be back here. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking...
I said thank you earlier, but girl, I got your donation. Thank you, Q Idiot, for the donation. Everybody, thank you for the donations. If you can support the show, that's awesome. If you can't, take care of yourself. I'm not like that. I'm not a Bert, but we appreciate it.
Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high.
We need to go over the Facebook whistleblower. So she said some pretty crazy things, including that they are targeting your teenage sons and daughters when they're going through like distress, like mental anguish and distress over their weight or their height or their looks or a breakup or whatever. They're targeting that and selling it to advertisers. 13 to 17-year-olds is their big market for that type of influential marketing that they're using. That's fucking crazy. The pandering to China Facebook's been doing. Zuckerberg's a real piece of shit. The female whistleblower that went to Congress, I want to watch that all and maybe try clipping out some of the better or worse parts, like the better parts of it, and then maybe put together something for you guys. We'll see. It's like a couple hours of testimony. And fucking Palantir is terrifying, dude. A lot of it is like with like body image. Like your 13-year-old girl or 15-year-old girl gets broke up with her boyfriend and they'll sell her makeup and weight loss and diets and shit like that. Or a big one for boys is workout routines, supplements, steroids, shit like that, when they're going through the same emotional distress. But to be targeting 13 to 17-year-olds, especially when they're in distressed, is just fucking disgusting. Have a good night, guys.